Hey guys, it's me, Davey's5. Welcome back to another episode of Popcorn, and in today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the hit Netflix TV show Never Have I Ever. So if you haven't seen Never Have I Ever Season 1 and 2, this will contain spoilers to it, so go watch Never Have I Ever, come back to this video, and I've linked a video up here in the description which you guys can watch instead of this one. So let's get started with this review. Now, I first have to say the show has a lot of positive elements. One, it normalizes therapy and mental health for people of color because a lot of times, there's the whole mental health and therapy are just for white people, which the show does directly address. And also the representation and normalization of LGBTQ plus teens and couples. And also just the range of diversity from, background characters to, displays of culture and displays of orientation really help, gravitate a lot of people towards the show, and it's one of the strongest reasons why people love it so much, which I can understand. Now moving on to some of the things I didn't like so much. The show is a typical high school drama. You have the nerdy girl chase after the hot boy, and then, in between the whole typical, the side guy also falls in love with her. And then at the end, she has to pick between the two. And we have that Never Have I Ever in some version. In season 1, Davey's chasing Paxton. But in between, Ben starts developing feelings for Davey. They almost have a kiss at his party. And then at the end, Ben and Davey kiss. And Paxton's kind of put to the side. And then that's how season 1 concludes. And then season 2, you have this love triangle where Davey is unable to decide who she wants to be with, so she dates both boys, which I find a very bad idea, which just kind of didn't make season 2 that great because let's dive into Davey whilst we're talking about her. I really feel like Davey's mental health struggle is over-exaggerated. I feel the emotions are really just intense and loud, and it doesn't feel natural to me. I feel like had the show maybe consulted a developmental psychologist and had them on the team and really looked into how does trauma work for teens and what does it manifest into. I know it does manifest into anger sometimes, but there needs to be a balance of emotions. And I feel like that could have been really good because you could have had a moment where she got really angry and sometimes really sad. And you do see those moments in season 1, but I just don't feel like there were enough of them. In season 2, there are those moments. They're a little bit more, but I feel like it could have been done in a better way than it was. And then going back to my other point about the typical high school drama, I feel like because the show is really the show that paves the way for more opportunities for South Asian leads and, acting opportunities, I feel like they could have gone for a different kind of, story structure, maybe done it differently. And also another thing I don't really like, just to, add to this, is the whole narration. I feel it's very disruptive. It doesn't really suit the format, that this famous tennis star is narrating Davey's, life story, but it is explained that this tennis star was their dad's favorite. And then we have Gigi Hadid narrating for Paxton season 2, and then we have Andy Samberg. And I feel like them calling themselves famous and pointing out their fame really distracts from the story. And I feel like they could have just gone without that. It doesn't really serve anything to the story, nor does it serve anything to the show. And also, I feel like what they failed at with the show was a lack of representation of Hindu Tamil culture. Because Davey and her mom are supposed to be Tamilians from the region of Chennai originally. And I just feel like when they go to Chennai, it's just stereotypes. It's just the stereotypes of high-fi life in India where the rich people are running around to parties. They don't have time to really look after lots of servants, big house. I feel like they could have gone for something more authentic and more representative of the people. Which segues into my other point. This show only has one South Asian creative, and that's Mindy Kaling. I know that the 3 writers on the show are not South Asian at all, which really shocked me because I feel like the show, since it's going to be the landmark show that will hopefully lead to more opportunities, like I said before, there should have been more South Asian creatives and also South Asian crew members. I'm not sure how many South Asian crew members there are, but I don't feel like there are any. And I feel like, the reason why Netflix might have wanted to, play it a bit safe with the show and kind of dial down the daciness of the show was because of the whole fallout that happened with the Indian matchmaker and the controversies that arose out of that made a lot of people angry. So I feel like Netflix is trying to be like, okay, let's have this show, be the way it is. And if it's a success, we will make more of it and like it. If it's not, then this is the last kind of show. This is not to say I absolutely hate the show. I don't like it. I just feel like there are points that could have been done better. For example, they could have, veered off from using tropes and stereotypes. Davey's completely written within the whole nerdy, quirky girl stereotype. And even within the stereotype of the model minority myth of being a hard-working Asian who gets straight A's and is a perfect student and the teachers love her and she's the teacher's pet, the stereotype that Asians are all inherently hardworking and really smart and can get to really good positions has been used against other minorities to say why can't they do that, and it has a very dark and racist history, and I feel like that could have been taken out from the show and really could have just been, avoided. And there was a moment in the show where Davey gets really upset with Ben and she says, I wish you were killed by the Nazis, which I feel like shouldn't have been put into the show, which I feel is just, it trivializes a very dark moment in history and really just uses it in a way that it should have been used. And I just didn't like that. And I just feel like they could have avoided it. And I just don't understand why such a big network should have put pressure on the show to be like, hey, we can't say that on air. No, this is not acceptable. Which I didn't feel they did, and which disappointed a lot of people. And a lot of people criticized the show for that. And I have put links and articles in the description below if you want to check it out. And overall, I don't want to discourage people from watching the show. Please do support it, as it will garner more opportunities for South Asians in the future to be leads of other shows and projects. But I will say it's not my favorite, and I feel like there could have been things that could have been better. And if you enjoyed this review, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've seen Never Have I Ever. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I'd love to hear your opinions you have around the show, because I really think we need a conversation and dialogue about this show, because it's very important to criticize and analyze, shows that are coming out. And please be sure to subscribe.